Hey Rockets, Mrs. Wilkenbush back here with Masterminds by Gordon Korman. Are you guys kind of thinking, gosh, I wonder what's going to happen next? Or are you kind of wondering about how this is going to all play out? That's kind of where I'm doing in the middle of the story. So I hope you're doing the same thing. All right, chapter 13, Malik Bruder. My greatest fear used to be that I'd be stuck in Happy Valley forever, busting my butt at some dead-end job at the plastics factory. But that's been looking better to me lately. Steady job, steady pay, no falling off of roofs and scrambling your brains on the ground below. And now I can't even look forward to that. The factory is as screwy as the town, and instead of working in it, I'll be invading the place. The time is set for Tuesday, 1 o'clock a.m. I'm not the only one who's nervous. Frieden says he can't sleep. Little Miss Terrific has been having nightmares about her parents in purple people eater outfits. It's pretty funny, but the dark circles under her eyes confirm that the bad dreams have been keeping her up at night. Hector keeps telling me how calm he is, and the fact that he won't shut up about it is exactly the opposite. The poor wimp is so afraid of being left out that he has signed onto this without a sensible thought. Maybe he really is special. What freaks me out most of all is the part we won't be able to know until we're face to face with it. What's inside of the factory? Is it crawling with purples? And if they aren't making traffic cones, what are they doing? I want to know, but I'm afraid of what I might find out. And there's one other thing I'll bet none of the others considered. What if we break in and discover nothing? No explanation of something screwy, but also nothing to put our minds to rest. If that happens, I think I'll lose it for sure. 9:25 p.m. A geyser of water explodes from the kitchen faucet, striking my dad full on the chest, just below the bow tie. He drops like a sack of flour, and the jets shoot straight across the room, soaking the microwave, which shorts out in a shower of sparks. All I can think about is why tonight. Nothing ever happens in Happy Valley, and our sink has to turn into Niagara Falls the one night we've got something going on. Miraculously, the house is not burning down, but it might as well be if you go by my mother's reaction. Malik, get Peter and Monty. Henry, shut the water off before the kitchen is flooded. It's a little late for that. We're already up to our ankles. To be honest, I don't care if the house floats downstream to Arizona and ends up in the Colorado River. My concern is the plan. I want a calm evening, everything nice and dull. The last thing we need is a crisis with my parents and Hector's dad up in the air, frantic and possibly sleepless. The Armanis live 2 doors away, so I run over there rather than calling. It's easier to ignore a ringing phone than someone pounding on the door screaming, "Flood!" Hector answers the door and I bark, "Get your dad, we've got a plumbing emergency." He stares at me. "Tonight?" "Yeah, I did it on purpose just to tick you off. Hurry!" Soon, Mr. Amani is on his way with Hector and me bringing up the rear. The word around Happy Valley is that Hector's dad breaks as many pipes as he repairs, but he is the only plumber in town. Also electrician and general handyman. If he can't fix it, you're looking at Taos. I breathe a silent prayer as he splashes into our kitchen, wielding a very destructive-looking wrench. My father's there to greet him. Dad puts on a dry bow tie for the crisis, like that's what it says in Plumbing 101. I hope you brought your scuba gear, Dad jokes. Dad's jokes aren't just for the kids in town. He's an equal opportunity doofus. Heart sinking as the water level rises. Hector and I watch Mr. Armani go to work. What if it's a long job? Hector worries in a whisper. It won't be, I say firmly. There's absolutely no basis in fact for my opinion. It's strictly hope. Yeah, but what I mean is, I know what you mean, stupid, and if you don't shut up, everyone's going to know. It's after 11 by the time the sink is fixed. That turns out to be the easy part. Cleaning up the water is a lot harder. Hector and I drag over these big drying fans which have to run for 24 hours. Each one sounds like a leaf blower with a large stone rattling inside of it. I figure we'll have to scrap the mission. No way are my parents going to be able to sleep through that racket. It's enough to wake the dead. Hector shares my concern. He lingers even after his father is headed home. What are we going to do? I think it over. The fans are roaring in my ears. Tonight is a big deal. Not just putting the plan together, but also getting ourselves psyched up to do it. If we cancel now, we know who knows how long it'll take to get ourselves to recharge again. It's almost 11:30, I tell him. If my folks aren't asleep by midnight, we'll call off everything. You'll just go to the meeting place and tell Eli and Tori. Why me? Because if I could do it, there'd be no reason to cancel, would there? Miracle of miracles. Both my parents are dead to the world within 20 minutes of crawling into bed. Go figure. Those fans are so droning and monotonous that I almost drop out myself. Wouldn't that be classic, to snooze through my own break-in? I don't even have to tiptoe as I slip out of the house. My folks won't hear it if I left on horseback at the head of the brass band. The drill is becoming familiar. Meet Hector first, then Eli and Tori. She's brought ropes, courtesy of Mr. Priddle, who used to be a rock climber, then on to the factory. I'm waiting my turn to scale the gate when Hector freezes halfway up. Sometime tonight would be nice, I stage whisper. What's the problem? My pants are stuck, he calls down. We'll get them unstuck, I hiss. He flounders. I can't. Muttering under my breath, I climb the fence to Hector and Eli and Tori, who are already over there. Let me back up and make sure I didn't miss a page, guys. Nope, we are right on track. Muttering under my breath, I climb to Hector and Eli and Tori, who are already over, clamber up the other side. Hector's right. He really is caught. Somehow a strand of chain pierced the denim of his jeans, and all of his efforts to free himself only tangled himself further. Take off your pants, Tori orders. He's horrified. I am not breaking into that factory in my underwear. It'll be easier to get them off the fence if you're not in them, she explains. Obviously, you'll put them on again afterward. Like it matters what we're wearing if the purples bust us? I got rolling my eyes. Hector sets his jaw. No. What do you mean no, I demand? What choice is there? Hector points at Tori. Not with her watching. She eases herself down a few handholds and jumps to the ground. How's this? She asks, turning her back. She's the best climber of the four of us, and we could probably use her help. But after much protesting and whining, Eli managed to get Hector separated from his jeans and over the gate. At least he has the grace to look embarrassed as he gets dressed again. It's comic relief, but it's also a reminder. Things can and do go wrong. At last we approach the building. It looks different from our first visit. Higher. Ready, you guys? Whispers Tori, all business. I don't think I'll ever be ready, and Eli and her scared witless. But a strange calm seems to set in with Tori the closer we get to crunch time. Step 1. Time the purples. A circuit of the building takes a golf cart 21 minutes. To be safe, we allow ourselves 18 for the first stage of our climb. The instant the patrol disappears out of sight, we steal along the wall and position ourselves directly under the lower section of the roof that we chose from the aerial photographs. It's still easily 20 feet up, maybe more. Step 2. Cowboy time. I tie a wide noose around the end of the rope, take aim, and hurl the loop at the roof. The first few tries aren't high enough, but then I get the range. The snare disappears over the edge, only to miss its target and fall back down at my feet. I'm shooting for a hook-shaped vent pipe we spotted on the kite pictures. It's just a few inches in from the eave, but from every 20 feet down and block the angle of the roof, I'm working blind. 8 minutes, Tori supplies the time check. Think you could do better, I growl. I'd be more on target, she replies honestly, but I don't have the strength to throw high enough. It's a little more Happy Valley honesty than I'm in the mood for. The nylon cord is growing heavy in my hands. It's like I'm carrying an anvil. I start to sweat and my shoulders ache. 12 minutes. Okay, Now I'm worried. Remember, it's not just enough to hook the pipe. 4 people have to climb the rope and pull it out of sight before the purples come back around again. We don't have much time, Hector intones urgently. I glare at him, and the tiny pause is just the rest my tired arms need. On the next throw, the rope doesn't come back. I pull it taut and it holds. 15 minutes, Hector updates us. Tori hoists herself off the ground and climbs with ease, walking along the bricks. I have to admit, she's good. Better than I'll be, probably. At the top, she swings a leg over the eave and disappears from sight. A second later, she's leaning out, calling for the next climber. It's Eli, shinning madly up the rope, propelled by fear rather than athleticism. He doesn't earn many style points, but he gets up almost as quickly. After him comes Hector. With no chain link to shish kebab himself on, the shrimp does okay. At least till he reaches the top, where he struggles to get his foot over the ledge. Hurry, Hector, we're at 18 minutes, Tori hisses. To underscore this point, we hear the hum of the golf court in the distance, growing louder. Oh no, the purples are making it in record time. Eli and Tori reach down and haul Hector in like a fisherman landing a prized harpoon. Then they pull up the rope. Tori rasps a single syllable. Hide! There's nowhere to go. The bushes are too far away and the patrol is too close. The golf cart's wheels churn against the ground. They're about to turn the corner, and what will they find? Me, serving myself up on a silver platter. I don't know what makes me do it. I just do it. I lie flat on the grass against the foot of the building and try to melt into the ground. There is absolutely no cover. If the purples glance to my way, I'm hosed. The flashlight beams appear first, crisscrossing the compound in ways they always do. Here comes a golf cart less than 10 feet away. Their faces are as clear as the pictures on the cards. General confusion and Alexander the Great. A cone of light shoots straight at me, sweeps across my shoulder, lights up my nose, and moves on. I lie there, frozen with fear, waiting for the patrol to come back and scoot up. Instead, they drive past. I'm a statue. I don't even breathe as the cart rolls off into the night. Finally, a voice from above. Clear! I barely hear Eli over the pounding of my heart in my ears. Why didn't they see me? I was right there. Like in a spotlight. It must honestly be true that you don't notice what you're not expecting to see. Down comes the rope and I climb up to join the others. I make pretty short work of it too, riding an adrenaline rush that could just as easily take me to the moon. It's time for step 3, which is no small thing for a guy who didn't expect to survive step 2. We pull up the rope again and I take aim at the main roof. It's a trickier throw this time, practically vertical, since I can't stand back for a better angle without tumbling off the level I'm already on. Amazingly, I made it on the 3rd try, and we prepare for our final ascent. It's only another 20 feet, but it feels like a mile in the sky. Don't think about how far down the ground is, Tori advises. Remember, if you slip, you'll just fall back to where you are now. Or, this is where we'll bounce on our way to being dashed to pieces at the bottom. Sounds like something your dad might say, Hector jabs at me. I'm too stressed out to be insulted. Tori goes first, her strong hands working the cord as her sneakers scamper lightly up the husk of the building. I'm amazed at how athletic she is. Then again, when the only things you ever try are badminton, water polo, and croquet, who knows what hidden talents could be lurking just beneath the surface? She's almost at the top when it happens. With barely a sound, the canoe slips off of its perch on the roof. For a terrible second, I see the loose rope above us, unhinged from the factory. Then it's falling, and so is Tori. She thrashes around as she lets go of the useless rope. I hold out both arms, which is stupid. She's 18 feet up, so catching her is an option. Maybe that's my secret plan. If I get crushed, I won't have to face the prospect of getting down off of this building carrying a dead body. I hear twin gasps from Eli and Hector and brace for impact. Tori's right hand catches a small ledge at the bottom window. Grimacing with effort, she holds on, digging the rubber toes of her sneakers into the space between the bricks. She'll never make it, I think to myself. But somehow she does, sticking to the wall as if by Velcro. The rope lands at my feet. I pick it up and start flinging it at the roof, hoping to hook something quickly to give Tori an easy way up or down. At this point, I don't care about ambition. I just don't want anybody dead. Again and again, the snare misses its target and tumbles to my feet. Look, it's Tori moving on the wall. She puts her left hand and jams it in between the bricks, finding just enough courage to hoist her foot to the window ledge. From there, she can reach the eaves. She heaves herself up with both arms and rolls over onto the roof. I experience a twinge of fear as she disappears from sight. Then she's back in view, on her feet, signaling me to toss her up the rope. She catches it and loops it around a sturdy pipe. One by one, we clamber up the wall and held together at the top, exhausted and speechless. You okay? I breathe. She manages to speak up. Thanks, Malik. That ship looks better than Eli and Hector, who are grim, pale, and hyperventilating. I don't have a mirror, but I'm sure I'm worse. I can barely keep myself from shaking. We're on the roof of the Serenity Plastic Works, the highest point of our universe for our entire lives. Every time you look up, there it is. Eli puts it into words. This must be how it felt to stand on the summit of Mount Everest for the first time. If there is a Mount Everest, I remind him. We learned about it, so it might be total baloney. From our perch, Serenity seems every bit tiny as a podunk I've always thought it known to be. Take away a few streetlights and you wouldn't even know there's a town. We see sun beams patrol past below us and we retreat from the edge of the roof. Our shoes touch on the gravel surface. Besides the smokestacks, the largest feature up here is a massive air conditioning unit located near the center of the roof. We head forward, winding our way around various pipes and vents. We have to find the trapdoor we saw on the aerial photograph. There it is, in the shadow of the big compressor. I grab the handle and pull. It won't budge. Tori takes out a flat butter knife from her pocket and slips the blade into the crack between the square door and the frame, feeling for the latch. I've been practicing on our door at home. She makes a face. It isn't quite the same. She twists harder and we hear a snap. When she withdraws the knives, half of the blade is missing. She presses on that it begins to sink in that nobody thought to any other instincts to building. This is classic. We start our necks and come so far, and it turns out that our entire plan hinges on a butter knife. That's all we've got to get inside. I'm barely able to keep myself from shouting that. Even in the gloom, I see her redden. I learned on the locks in my house, and it never occurred to you that all the locks are the same as the ones in the place where no anything. I scoop up a fistful of gravel, squeezing it until the pain of my hand is the agony in my gut. I rear back and let fly maximum frustration and rage. A few passes strike the air conditioning until a rat taps down. Get out, Eli hisses. What if the patrol hears us? They're 40 feet below us. It was pretty loud, Hector ventures. Tori jumps up excitedly. You're right. It was loud. So, I swear. So it was loud because the metal is hollow. The air conditioning is a duct system through the building. And I care about this because, don't you see? She exclaimed. The only way into the factory. The air ducts go in too, and we go in there with them. Whew, that was kind of an exciting chapter. Those guys could have been in real trouble, but they figured it out. Now, I'm wondering what's going to happen next. Until next time, Rockets.